Horace Maynard was born on August 30th, 1814 in Westborough, Massachusetts, a small, rural community primarily focused on agriculture. The town's economy was largely based on farming, with residents growing crops and raising livestock. The arrival of the railroad 20 years after the birth of Horace Maynard marked a significant transformation, turning Westborough into a bustling manufacturing center. This shift led to the production of various goods such as straw hats, bicycles, boots, shoes, and sleighs. The population of Westborough in 1814 was around 1,132 people. The town's landscape featured rolling hills, farmland, and small settlements. Life in Westborough during this period was characterized by a close-knit community where most people knew each other and worked together to support the town's growth and development. Born to Ephraim and Diana Cogswell Maynard, Horace attended Millbury Academy in Millbury, Massachusetts. Established in the early 19th century, Millbury served as a preparatory school for boys and girls, providing a classical education that included subjects such as Latin, Greek, mathematics, and the sciences. The academy was known for its rigorous academic standards and played a significant role in the education of many young people in the region, including Horace Maynard. The academy eventually closed, and its site later became home to Millbury Memorial Junior-Senior High School, which continues to serve the educational needs of the community. Completing that school, at age 16, he went on to graduate from Amherst College as valedictorian in the summer of 1838. Amherst College was a relatively young institution as Maynard graduated, having been founded in 1821. The curriculum at Amherst in 1838 was rigorous and classical, focusing on subjects such as Latin, Greek, mathematics, philosophy, and theology. The college aimed to provide a comprehensive education that prepared students for various professional fields, including ministry, law, and medicine. The student body was relatively small, fostering a close-knit community. Students were typically young men from various parts of the United States. Those enrolled followed a structured daily routine that included classes, study periods, and religious activities. The college emphasized discipline and hard work, expecting students to adhere to a strict code of conduct. Amherst College was founded with a strong religious mission, and this influence was evident in its daily operations. Chapel services and religious instruction were integral parts of the college experience. While academic pursuits were the primary focus, students also engaged in various extracurricular activities, including literary societies and debates. After graduation in 1838, Horace Maynard came to East Tennessee College, now the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, to teach in the fall semester. He was quickly promoted, first to teacher of mathematics and ancient and modern languages, and later to professor of rhetoric and belles lettres. 2 years later, in 1840, he would enroll in his own college to study law. 1840 would be a pivotal year for young Horace, as he would marry Laura Ann Washburn, daughter of Azel and Sally Skinner Washburn. Together, Horace and Laura had 7 children: Edward, born 1843, Washburn, born 1844, Eleanor, born 1846, Ephraim Horace, born 1848, Laura, born 1851, James, born 1853, and Mary, born 1856. Also in 1840, 2 years fresh from college, Maynard began writing a series of articles for the now-defunct Knoxville Times under the pen name Zadok Jones. These articles were quite critical of the area and its people and would cost him his first election bid. In one article, Zadok would refer to the poor people of East Tennessee as mere cattle to be herded by the educated. By 1844, he had grown tired of teaching, and after securing his law degree, became a lawyer of note in the area. Maynard also involved himself in politics. He served as presidential elector twice, first on the Whig ticket in 1852 and then on the Republican ticket in 1856. He was unsuccessful in his first bid for national office in 1853, but was elected to the United States House of Representatives in 1857. He was re-elected twice and served until Tennessee seceded from the Union. He went on to serve as the Attorney General of Tennessee from 1863 to 1865 and as a delegate to the Southern Loyalist Convention in Philadelphia in 1866. Horace Maynard garnered a reputation as one of the best lawyers and most influential people in the area. His peers believed him to be brash and somewhat unpleasant in personality. However, Even those who thought him off-putting recognized his genius. The Knoxville Times reported him as knowledgeable on any subject he spoke on. This would lead citizens in northern Knox County to retain his counsel in ceding from that county to form their own. In 1850, creation of a new county in East Tennessee, called Union County, was proposed. It was to be made up of parts of Granger, Claiborne, Campbell, Anderson, and Knox County. Knox County was staunchly opposed to the creation of a new county and kept it tied up in court until 1856. During many trials and hearings, the creation of Union County was floundering. Knox County felt that it was being created within 12 miles of its county seat and therefore illegal. Enter, in 1855, a newly minted lawyer and politician named Horace Maynard. Angered by many Knox County politicians, recently lambasted in local papers for the Zadok Jones controversy, and fresh off a loss running for Congress, Horace came to the defense of Union County with a vengeance. His oration for the self-determination of a small group of East Tennessee people to be free of the oppression of the Knox County government rang well and loud in court. It also played well with the rest of East Tennessee that felt Nashville favored Knox County above all others in East Tennessee. Not only did Knox County cede defeat to Maynard in the courts, but his own popularity grew. In a few years, East Tennessee would overwhelmingly elect him to Congress. During his first term, in the tumultuous period leading up to the American Civil War, Tennessee decided to secede from the Union. Maynard's own stance was strongly to preserve the Union. Tennessee officially seceded on June 8, 1861. However, the East Tennessee region's mountainous terrain was less suited to large-scale agriculture and plantation farming, leading to a lower reliance on enslaved labor. This economic difference contributed to a distinct political and cultural identity of the area that was more aligned with the Union. When Tennessee voted on secession, East Tennessee overwhelmingly opposed it, with many counties voting against leaving the Union by a margin of more than 2-1. This strong Unionist sentiment led to significant internal conflict within the state. East Tennesseans even attempted to form a separate, pro-Union state and sought protection from the federal government. Throughout the Civil War, East Tennessee remained a hotbed of Unionist activity. Many residents joined the Union Army, and the region saw numerous skirmishes and guerrilla warfare as Confederate and Union forces vied for control. Maynard was one of the few Southern congressmen who remained loyal to the Union. He strongly opposed secession and worked tirelessly to keep Tennessee in the Union. Throughout the war, Maynard urged President Abraham Lincoln to send Union forces to liberate East Tennessee from Confederate control. He was deeply concerned about the safety and well-being of Unionist residents in the region. During the war, Maynard served as Tennessee's Attorney General under Governor Andrew Johnson, further solidifying his commitment to the Union cause. He continued to support Unionist policies and worked closely with federal authorities. After the war, Maynard returned to Congress and continued to advocate for the rights and interests of Unionists in Tennessee. His efforts were crucial in the reconstruction and reintegration of Tennessee into the Union. Maynard's unwavering support for the Union and his efforts to protect East Tennessee's Unionist population made him a significant figure during this critical period in American history. After Tennessee was readmitted to the Union, Maynard was once again elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. He served until 1875, but chose not to run for re-election in 1874 in order to campaign, unsuccessfully, for the governorship of Tennessee. President Ulysses S. Grant appointed him U.S. ambassador to Turkey in 1875, and he remained at this post until May of 1880. President Rutherford B. Hayes appointed him Postmaster General in June of 1880, and he served until 1881. Maynard died in Knoxville, Tennessee, on May 3, 1882, of a heart attack. His death was unexpected and sudden as the day before he had given a speech to university students. In that speech, delivered in Knoxville, Tennessee, he reflected on his long career in public service and reiterated his unwavering commitment to the Union, which had defined much of his political life. Maynard's oration emphasized the importance of national unity and the progress made since the Civil War. He spoke about the challenges faced during the Reconstruction era and the ongoing efforts to rebuild and reconcile the nation. His words were a testament to his dedication to the principles of democracy and his hope for a united and prosperous future for the United States. Horace Maynard is buried right at the gate of Knoxville's historic Old Gray Cemetery, along with his wife and James, who attended the opening of the school named after his father. The history of his burial place is fitting to the American statesman Horace Maynard became. Established in 1850 and dedicated in 1852, Old Gray Cemetery is Knoxville's first garden cemetery and the second oldest cemetery in the city. Named after the English poet Thomas Gray, author of Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard, the cemetery reflects the garden cemetery movement of the mid-19th century, which aimed to create serene, park-like burial grounds. The cemetery was founded by a board of trustees led by East Tennessee University President William B. Reese, a friend of Maynard. The first land for the cemetery was purchased in December 1849, and landscape architect Frederick Douglass was hired to design the layout. The cemetery's design includes spacious graves, grand monuments, and extensive vegetation, resembling a public park more than a traditional graveyard. The first person buried in Old Gray Cemetery was William Martin, who died from injuries sustained during a cannon explosion on July 4, 1851. His burial took place on July 15, 1851, before the cemetery was fully laid out. The cemetery contains graves of both Union and Confederate soldiers, reflecting the divided sympathies of East Tennessee during the Civil War. Notable burials include Colonel Henry M. Ashby, General William R. Caswell, and Tennessee wartime Governor William G. Brownlow. Old Gray Cemetery is mentioned in literary works, such as Tennessee William's short story, The Man in the Overstuffed Chair, and Peter Taylor's novel In the Tennessee Country. The cemetery's Victorian-era marble sculptures and elaborate carvings add to its historical and cultural significance. Old Gray Cemetery was added to the National Register of Historic Places, ensuring its preservation and recognition as a site of historical importance.